Okay. I think we're back. We're good. All right. Well, I made a video. I was talking about hydration and, water, the three different types of water. And for whatever reason, the file got corrupted or something. So I don't know. Maybe they don't want somebody to hear this stuff. Whatever. What's up, guys? As you know, I'm going to be talking about water and dehydration. So, statistically speaking, 75% of Americans are actually dehydrated, which is an alarming amount of people because we have about maybe 387 million people, if not a little bit more. And to think that that's 75%. Oh my God, that's three quarters of the population of America. Insane. Dehydration causes fatigue, so it makes a lot of sense. If you look outside, a lot of people are always tired. They struggle to actually like do the things that they want to do after they've done like an arduous task, right? For example, most people that go to work and then they get out and they're just like, I just want to go home and shower and go to sleep. I don't want to do anything else. So they get home and they shower and they crash. And it's kind of unfortunate, you know what I mean? Um, Dehydration is also one of the leading factors in kidney stones in the body. So something to keep in mind. They did a study back in 1990 where they tested a couple patients, and it was about 700 patients, if I'm not mistaken. They found that in about 20% of them, those patients were actually dehydrated. So you can see how this really plays a major role in the body. Now, where's my marker? See if I got that right. All right. So I'm gonna get into the three types of water. So H2O is the common water that we find in our day to day, right? Like the Fiji, the Poland Spring, the Core, Essentia, Evian, or however you pronounce it. And that's the water that we know of on a day to day. You wash your dishes in H2O, you take a bath in H2O. Like it's the most common water that we know of. Then you got H3O, which is only found in the body. Only vampires drink this type of water. I'm just playing. But it makes sense if you think about it. Like in any like anime or show that you watch, it's always like the vampires are always going for like blood and things like that. And so now it kind of starts to make sense. It's just weird though. Whatever. And then that's only found in the body though. Then you have H3O2. Now H3O2 is pretty unique. It's only found in fruits and vegetables. The good thing about that is that's very easily accessible. You can just go to your store, if you have your own garden, whatever it is, right? If you go to the farmer's market, Trader Joe's, one of my favorite places to go, and you can find that there. Or you can just get like something that's already packaged for you, which I don't always go for that. I prefer to get it. Like if I'm going to juice any fruits or vegetables, I do it myself. I don't want it to be packaged by any like facility outside of my own house. And so, if I'm gonna do something that is packaged, I'll get like a coconut water. The two brands that are really good are Cocoa Well. If you're in New York, I'm in New York right now. And then Trader Joe's brand, obviously. Now, I did an experiment to test out the hydration rate of each water. And I found that last year I did 1 month for each water. Now, the first month I did H2O, and I found that I was struggling to keep up with the routine I did. So I lived pretty close to a nice stairway by a park, and I decided, hey, let me just go and do this and see what's going to happen. Now, I did one lap, and one lap is basically you go all the way up the stairs and you come all the way down. I did about 15 of those, and I was struggling, right? Now, that was on the H2O. When I got onto H3O2, which basically was the next month, I found that I got to 25, and I had to actually tell myself, all right, you should probably stop. You're gonna keep going if but until I'm exaggerating, I really did get to 25, but basically I found that I had a lot more energy, my stamina improved, I had a lot more flow going on internally, so it was a lot easier for me to do that. Now, that was H3O2, and it could be something as simple as like a coconut water, or you can get some juice. You can find some recipes online. I use the geogenetic juice from Yaki Awaken. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with him. It's a really good recipe. In fact, I use this in conjunction with a exercise routine that I created, which is a low intensity, high impact exercise routine in terms of getting to the body to be a lot more in flow. But the most important thing about it is it opens up the energetic pathways in the body, right? It helps with your arteries, it helps with your cardiovascular health and your lymphatic flow or your lymph flow. And that exercise is beautiful. It's done me wonders. What led to me getting into this is earlier in the year, I was dealing with a lot of different things in my life, and I found that I needed to take some time. I needed to do some self care. So I decided to do a juice fast, and I did a 15-day juice fast. I lost 25 pounds. A lot of people say, "Oh, you lost that weight way too fast." No, I didn't lose it too fast because what happens is when you're fasting, especially if you're juice fasting, the body has an easier chance of going into ketosis, right? That's very different from starvation, right? Ketosis, your body is targeting the unhealthy fats, whereas when you're in starvation, it's taking everything, even the muscles. So that should give you some insight on what that looks like because it's not easy out here figuring out and navigating the space of health and wellness. So I want to make sure I'm giving you the best information that I can possibly give to you. And I have at least 10 plus years of experience in health and wellness, excuse me, as well as fitness words, right? So with that out of the way, you now have those three different types of water. You know where they come from. Now, one thing I will say to you is just off of what I shared with you, H3O2 is the best in terms of hydrating the body. Now, a lot of people are dehydrated not because they're not drinking enough water. Some people are not drinking water at all. I'm aware of this because there's a lot of people that I meet and I'll talk to them about this and it'll come up in everyday conversations. And people will say, like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't drink no water. I don't like the taste, so on and so forth. Okay, that makes sense, right? If you're one of those people, it would benefit you to actually seek out a sufficient supply of that H3O2, baby, right? And it's going to do wonders for the body. One of the things that I've noticed by drinking the proper types of water is my complexion is immaculate. I love it, right? I feel like there's a glow about me, and I'm just amazed by my ability to just do things much more fluidly, right? Especially within that exercise routine that I have, it helps with the lymph flow. So there's like a much greater assistance in that because I'm more hydrated. So if you want to actually hydrate your body, don't just grab a bottle of Poland Spring or Core Water or anything like that. You know what I mean? Some good brands of water, if you're going to do water, is like maybe Saratoga, Aquapana for sure. Aquapana is a little bit more on the expensive side, but it's actually good. You're not wasting, it's not a bad investment. Let's put it like that. H3O2, like I said, you can do Cocoa Well or you can do the Trader Joe's brand. Now, there are some other coconut waters that people like. I would honestly lead you towards like more whole things. So you want something that doesn't have a bunch of ingredients inside. And the reason I recommended the Trader Joe's brand is because it comes from one place and it has one ingredient. It comes from Brazil and it only has coconut water in there, as far as I know. I've not seen anything else on that label, right? So that's the good thing. Cocoa Well is the same thing, and it only has one ingredient. So you want to have those types of things. You want to expose yourself to those things only. You don't want to have something that has like a very long laundry list of ingredients, whether it be a food or even something that you're drinking for the sake of hydrating the body. Now, this has been something that has been very transformational, and for me specifically, because it helps me to boost my mental clarity when it comes down to processing information, having higher levels of concentration and focus. I've definitely seen a difference between who I was while I was dehydrated and who I am now. Honestly, like every day I have at least like two containers of the coconut water. And I think each container is about what, 33.4 or 33.8, if not 33.7, whatever. The fact of the matter is that's at least 60 ounces of water. That's like a baseline in regards to what you could expect. I think it's really good. You know, if you're going to get into any type of fitness, you want the proper hydration. A bottle of water is not going to cut it, right? If you're in the gym and you know you're going to be spending a couple hours there, especially for my gym heads out there, you want to take time and actually invest in some H3O2. You want to get yourself some coconut water. If you don't like the taste of coconut water, it is an acquired taste for some people, I will admit. What you can do is you can get the Pedialyte sports drink. You can add your creatine to it. I'm pretty sure there's like flavored creatines, whatever type of sports powder that you normally use or whatever, add it to your coconut water, and you'll notice that the flavor is different, right? I've tried the Pedialyte sports drinks powders, and my coconut water was great. The lemon one is a personal preference. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's pretty good. What else? You can add like pineapple juice to it. You know what I mean? Now that's gonna require you juicing the pineapple, but this is for people who, you know, if you're not going to be juicing, I'm going to recommend you the coconut water. Now, if you want to juice, again, you can look into Yaki Awakens geogenetic juice. I think he gives that away for free. That's how I found it. Try some things that are gonna just boost the body. You want to get yourself in a nice flow state, because the mind is trying to help or assist the body in its everyday function. But your inability to move, well, I'm not going to say inability, but your lack of activity, your lack of movement in your day-to-day life is definitely playing a major role in you being stuck wherever it is you are in life, right? So if you just get some movement in, and it doesn't have to be anything like outworldish, right? Like, why jump into an exercise routine and then you're sore and you're walking around and you look like Cotton Hill? You know what I mean? So you don't need that. It's not something that anybody wants. I think that's why a lot of people avoid exercise today anyway. They don't want to deal with the pain. They don't like, some people love the soreness, right? Those are the gym heads. And then there's people who they don't want it, right? If that's you, again, I do have a exercise routine that is low intensity, high impact, and it will do exactly what's necessary for the body. So those energetic pathways open up and that information is coming in. Keep in mind, there's much more content coming. I definitely got some good stuff that I'm cooking up for you guys. But thanks for tuning in. I got a dash. Y'all have a good one, all right?